host Matt, and I'm going to be talking about how the traveling ban in the UK is currently easing off. Now, there's a lot of people talking about this. There's a lot of negative reviews on this, and a lot of negative and positive reviews on this. If you want to know more about this, do stick around because I'm going to be talking about how the travel ban in the UK is going to be lifted, but it's not going to be lifted as much as you expected because many countries are still under the red list, and due to that many countries won't be able to you won't be able to travel to many of these countries. So like there's pretty much like about 43 countries that you won't be able to travel to, but the UK is also planning to in like this they're planning to bring back international travel because they had like eased it off, but now they're planning to bring that back. So if you want to know more about this topic, you should definitely stick around and give us a call on our number. I'll put it right up over here. That is 07852 473 473. My name is Matt, and give me a call or send us a message. Send me a message if you want to let me know anything and everything. Also, you should definitely check us out on our social media platforms. That is Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. We go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And do check us out on our applications, which are on the App Store and Play Store. That is Relaks, Relax Radio. So you can check us out anywhere you go, anytime, and any place. So now coming back to the topic, the UK is planning to bring this new concept. It's not new. It's been there in the traveling concept system for quite a while. Now, this concept is that you get to travel to countries depending on the traffic light system. The traffic light system is really simple. There's three colors in the traffic light, as we all know: red, amber, and green. So, red means that you should not travel to this country. Red is when like the COVID situation in the country is really extreme. It's either like the COVID rate is like extremely high, you cannot travel there, and it's so bad that you have to stay in lockdown. Nobody in the city or in that country cannot come out. And the next color light is amber, which amber is like a mildly okay case. So it's not bad as red, but it's not good either because the COVID rate will be mediocre. You can travel there. You'll have to definitely get vaccinated, go under the particular precautions to prevent yourself from getting the COVID-19 virus, and so on. But green is the most easiest color. It basically means go. You can go to that country because it's safe, it's clean, and there are a few countries that come up under this category, such as Australia, New Zealand, and countries that have been maintaining their COVID COVID-19 cases in the country. So now, like so far, the countries in this red list have increased and decreased, but the decrease rate is like very low. Only two countries will be removed out of this list. And like I said before, 43 countries are there in this list. It would actually be 45 if these two countries hadn't been removed. Few of these countries are Bangladesh, Brazil, Cambodia, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Philippines, Qatar, and there's many more. I could go on for like quite a while just saying all the names of the countries, but there is so many countries that and when you want to travel to a country such as an amazing country like Africa, you could go and explore the wildlife. Unfortunately, you cannot travel there because of the travel ban that has been put upon this. Now that is sad news because like traveling is such a fun thing to do, but given the situation, it's understandable that have to stay in lockdown. You cannot go anywhere and so on. But now I'm going to proceed with the show, but I'll be right back with you after I show you a little bit of who Relax Radio is. That's right. This is Relax, and I'm your host, Matt, and I'm here to bring you the vibes from different places, different cultures, or even if you're interested in traveling to a country or interested in traveling. So, I was talking about, the travel ban that's been put on the country and many other countries, 43 countries to be specific. So, now you can't travel to the country depending on this traffic light system, which I was talking about. There's red, which you cannot travel because the COVID-19 rate is extremely high. Amber, which means the COVID-19 rate is mediocre. And green, which means good, it's good to go. The country is safe. It's taken the proper actions, and it's been going good. So now let's say you have this really special occasion that you have to go to this country that is a red list country. Now, there's so many ways you can prepare for this, and it's really hectic. It's a really long procedure, and you have to be cautious of what you're going to do over here, because one reason for this red traffic light system to be put on these countries is because it's harmful. Like, you put precautions on something, you prevent something because you know it's going to be harmful. It will affect the society, it will affect people around you, it will affect everyone. So that's where the red light system has been put there. It basically means that you should not do this even if you wanted to. But situations are really unexpected. They can come out of anywhere and everywhere. So, for instance, you have a really special case and you have to go to a red listed country. Now, what you have to do is you have to pay a huge amount of fees, because they want to make you stay in your house or stay in your country without traveling. So they put this huge fee that you have to pay in order to go, and you have to pay 1,750 pounds. Yes, 1,750 pounds. Now that is a huge number, but it doesn't get. Now that's actually the one of the lowest rate depending on what you do. But that itself is the basic charge. Now what you need to do with this 1,750 dollars, £1,750, sorry, is it goes to the hotel that you're traveling to. So let's say I'm going to India, because India is in the red list country, red list traffic light ban. So you go to India, this money that you paid will be dedicated to the hotel that you're going to stay in. Now, you'll be in the hotel under the normal quarantine restrictions, 14 days under lockdown. You will be given you'll be checked on whether you have the COVID-19. If so, you'll still go under lockdown, or even if not so, you'll still go under lockdown. Now, I told you that two countries were removed out of this red list, and the two countries were Maldives and Turkey. Now that's really impressive, because like Maldives is quite a small country when you compare it with like UK. Maldives somehow they managed to fix up the situation and come back into the amber list. They're not in the red list; they're in the amber list because they're still at the risky potential of going back to the red list, which is something that you got to like thank them, because they brought it down in quite a bit. But even though two countries went down, another few countries got added to the list, because initially the list was at 42%, 42 countries, but now it's back to 43. Even though two countries were removed, another three countries were added. Now that's bad, because it proves how deadly and how lethal the COVID-19 virus is. It's definitely a virus that we never saw coming. It was very unexpected. It hit us out of the blue, and we've definitely seen the consequences it's brought on us. It's really deadly. People who have like weak lungs, who find it hard to breathe, they are the most affected. Even the elder people are affected by this. So people with asthma, breathing issues, lung cancer, anything hard to breathe, or have like a very hard in immune system, those people get affected by this really easily, because it's not an easy virus that we can handle. We've never seen anything like this. It's put many people into shock, because like, come on, we never saw this coming. It is really scary if you think about it, and how it can affect someone's life. It'll just hit you out of nowhere. You'd not even know that you've got it until you start like losing sensors, like your sense of taste. You won't be able to get the smell of food, or even taste food. Now that is even worse, because like food is a reason why people love, enjoy living. Food is something we should explore, we should dine in, we should explore so many foods, because there's so much foods out there, and food is like made for everyone. Like, I love eating yogurt is something I love, and me not eating yogurt is quite sad, because the flavor you get in yogurt, and there's so much variety in yogurt. And if I woke up one day knowing that I'll never get to taste yogurt again, I just would be sad, and I'd be like angry at the same time, because man, I don't like COVID-19 and what it did to me. So I definitely agree with these new rules that the government is setting, because putting this fee that you had to pay in order to pay in order to travel. That makes sense because people have this emergencies that come across you, and there's many reasons why you need to travel. So having to pay for this, knowing that you're paying for your medication, the prescriptions that you need to prevent the COVID-19 from spreading, that makes sense that they're charging you such a fee when you're trying to travel to another country. Now, with that said, many countries, many people have implemented this in the UK, but Scotland is still not even certain of implementing this. They want to like keep it like the same way it's been, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson wants to bring back the UK to the state it was earlier before the COVID-19 pandemic, which is understandable because like we prefer that previous easy, convenient lifestyle where we can interact with our friends, we can interact with people. We've definitely become more socially distanced from people with the situation, and that's understandable, but that's also not a good thing because humans are a social creature. We like interaction, we like interacting with people, we like interacting with friends. And now the fact that we can't interact with people, we have to keep a 6 feet distance from our friends, family, relatives, or anyone. Now that is sad. So Prime Minister Boris Johnson is trying to bring back these old methods, old systems, to be precise. And it's really nice because meeting people is like one of the greatest things you can do. Hang out with your friends, have a good time, and it's all good, it's all fun. Now I will be right back with you after a little break, but I will be showing you a little bit of our sponsors and a little bit of Relax Radio. So do stick around, and I'll be talking more about the travel ban that has been set upon the 43 countries. That's right. This is Relax, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9. So, I'm here to talk about the vibes you can get from different cultures, different places, or anywhere you're interested in traveling. So, today I was talking about the red list that has been imposed on the 43 countries and how the UK is dealing with this using this traffic light system. Now, this system is basically really simple. Red means you can't travel to that country because the COVID 19 cases are really high. Amber means the cases are mediocre and you can travel to them depending on the situation. It's like variable. And green means you're good to go, and the COVID-19 rate is not that high. So now I was talking about like if you are really interested in traveling to a red listed country. Now this only is allowed if it's really important or you have a special case to go to this country. Now the first thing you need to do is pay 1,750 pounds. Now, that is a small amount compared to the other amounts you had to pay in case you violate these policies. Now, this amount is dedicated to the hotel you're going to stay and the 14-day quarantine that you will have to stay if you get quarantined, like if you have COVID-19 cases, or even if you don't have this. So, if you want to know more about this, do stick around and you should definitely give us a call on our number. The number is 07852 473 473. Now, we also have an app on the App Store and Play Store where you should definitely download it. So you could definitely listen to us anywhere you are or anywhere you're from because it's really convenient. And the name of the app is RELAKS, Relax Radio. So we also go live on and YouTube and Twitch. So we go live on those platforms, and you should definitely turn on the notifications so you definitely can log on to us or get notified every time we go live and you won't miss it. Now, coming back to the topic, you want to travel to a red listed country. Now, that's going to be really hard because you need to go through a lot of verification. Now, in order to book your ticket to this country, you have to go to the government portal. Without any other site or any other place, you cannot book your ticket to this country which you want to travel to. So you got to book this ticket from the government portal. Now, what happens if you don't book a ticket from the government portal? Now, that's bad because you won't be able to go to the country you wanted to go on that specific date. And if you're insisting on going on that specific date without booking a ticket through the government portal, you'll have to pay a fine of £4,000. Yes, £4,000. And that will also come with the addition of £1,750 for the hotel that you'll have to stay at. Now, both of these amounts will be added up in case you did not book your ticket from the government portal. Now, this is really important because this is a huge fine that you $4,000 is like a really huge amount. It's like going to be a huge scratch on our wallets. So we definitely had to prepare for that, and you should definitely go check out the government portal in case you want to travel to another country. Now the next step is really simple, but next things you got to be aware of are really simple and they're not big deals, but it is a penalty of £1,000 for traveling without taking the mandatory test. Now, there's vaccinations for the COVID-19 to help you prevent these COVID cases. So far, there are two vaccinations that have been imposed all around the UK, and those are mandatory in order to travel. If without those vaccinations, you won't be allowed to travel, no matter even if you applied from the government portal to travel to another country, you still need these vaccinations and have to pay that amount. Now, you will be charged a fine of £1,000 if you haven't taken the first vaccination to travel, and you also need to take the second vaccination. That would also be a fine of £2,000 if you haven't taken the vaccination, and that also comes with the addition of £1,750. So you had to pay for the vaccination in case you haven't taken the vaccination, and you had to pay the £1,750 for the hotel that you will be staying at. Now, this all makes sense because it's mandatory. It helps the system, it helps the government, and helps the society prevent the spread of COVID-19. It's really understandable if you look at it and if you think about it as well, because it makes sense because COVID-19 is a virus. It spreads around when you're near social, when you're near a group of people of more than like two people itself. You can easily spread this virus. It's easily spreadable, and that's the main reason why these big fines have been imposed and big strict rules that have been imposed. Now, there are more fines that may and will be imposed. Now, the biggest fine I would say is the fine of £10,000 or going to jail for 10 years. Now, this only happens if you fail to stay in the designated hotel that you were supposed to stay. Like, you go to the hotel, let's say you go to India and specific hotel, you paid all your amounts, but then you suddenly leave your room or leave the hotel and you go out. What's going to happen is you're going to be fined for that, because makes sense, right? You can't go out. You go out, you're going to catch the COVID-19 virus or either spread it or maybe not. But either way, it is still not good to go out of your restricted areas. So for that, you would face a fine of 5,000 to £10,000, depending on how bad that case is. Also, you might even face a case in jail for 10 years. Now, that is something you don't want to do, because you don't want to go to jail. It's going to be a bad thing on your reputation, on your career, and your resume. It all makes sense, because jail is not a nice place to be at. And now, let me tell you what we have to do. We have to pay £1,750 for the hotel we're going to stay in. Now, this is all exclusive of the ticket fare. You had to pay for the ticket fare. You had to book your ticket through the government portal. And after that, if you haven't taken the mandatory vaccinations, £1,000 for the first vaccination. That's a fine if you haven't taken it. And the second vaccination, if you haven't taken it, would be a fine of £2,000 if you haven't taken it. Now, you have to take these vaccinations. You have to go under a quarantine of 14 days if you test positive or do not test positive. And if you go to your country and you fail to stay in your designated location, that's the fine of 5,000 to £10,000 or 10 years in prison. Now, this is something that you should definitely consider if you're interested in traveling to a red listed country. And you need to have a valid reason also to travel to these countries, because you can't just travel to a country saying that, oh, I want to go and visit, I want to go see this huge mountain in this country. You can't say that, because you need to have a valid reason. It's either, let's say you're a businessman and you own a company in this specific country, like for example, India. Well, you need to be like, oh, I have a company here, I have a huge meeting here, I need to go check on my company. That would make sense. So business people have like a huge advantage here when it comes to like traveling to another country. That's mainly the only reason for traveling to a red band country. Now, it also can get worse if like I told you, there's one case you go to prison, and there's another case that you can go to prison. Now, that is coming from, let's say you're a UK citizen or someone who resides in UK, but you are living in a red band country. Now, let's say India. We'll take India as our biggest example for today. Now, you're in India and you want to come back to the UK. Now, you travel to the UK, and you're there in UK, but you haven't booked your visa, your ticket through the UK government. You haven't taken your vaccinations. For that, also, you will be fined of £10,000 or go to prison for 10 years, because that is much more worse. Like traveling from a red band country, having the virus potentially having the virus, and coming to your country and spreading it more. Now, that definitely deserves a fine of $5,000 plus or 10 years in prison. Now, it's not going to be exactly 10 years in prison. It varies depending on your situation, but that's totally up to you if you want to like spread the virus. So heads up, you should definitely check the government portal, check the terms and regulations, ask anyone who helped you with a visa, or ask a friend, or definitely check us out on our show, The Vibes, where I bring you vibes from all over the places. So do not travel to a country without definitely checking the UK government, booking your ticket through all of that, having the vaccinations, and you have to pay the fee as well. So when you're coming back to the country, now let's say, now the first situation I explained was that you're coming back to the country and you haven't booked your ticket, and you come back to UK and you get a fine, and or you go to jail for 10 years. Now, if you have booked your ticket to come back to UK from a red band country, you can do that. All you have to do is you pay the normal price for your ticket and another £1,750 for the hotel you're going to stay in the UK. Now, this applies both ways. Even if you're going to another country or coming to the UK, coming back to the UK, you either way have to pay $1,750. Now, person from the UK no person outside of UK, like if you're not a UK citizen or someone who belongs in the UK is trying to travel to UK, you won't be allowed to travel because we don't UK doesn't want the virus to be brought back into UK. Boris Johnson itself wants to bring back the country to the same old situation it was at. He doesn't want it to go back to the old situation where everyone's inside their houses, everyone's in lockdown, they won't be able to interact with their friends, family. Social interaction will be increased again. Now, I also heard a hot topic on this, like how Boris Johnson is trying to implement the old system back into the country. In schools, they're trying to remove face masks because because when you're teaching your student or the student is learning from a teacher, facial interaction is really important. So your student is paying attention, and it helps. It like brings more of a class-like vibe. So there's many sides to this topic as well. Like it'll increase the spread of COVID-19, but the way Boris Johnson is approaching this is by avoiding like people bringing back the COVID-19 virus into the country. So that's why he's implemented such rules, such restrictions, such fines, so people understand the gravity of what they're about to do. And like it's really expensive, these fines. Like £4,000 is like the biggest, that's one of the lowest fines over there, and that is a huge amount. It's like a huge scratch to your wallet in case you violate any of these fines. And if you do violate one of the fines without booking a ticket from the country you're traveling to or the country you're going to, well, that's 10 years in prison or a £10,000 fine. Now we don't want any of these. So the government has said a lot about these red band countries, traveling to them. They have many sides of this. Like they say that you should not be able to travel to these countries at all, and some say that you could be able to travel to these countries. It depends on who you are or what you're going for. But I personally would say that you should not be allowed to travel to these countries at all, because it you're putting your life at risk and putting the life of others at a risk as well, because your potential to get the COVID-19 virus when you travel there is really high, and to even bring it back from the country you're coming is still really high. And in case you do get the virus, that's going to be bad for you, because you're going to lose your sense of taste. You're going to be like really weak. You'll need a ton of bed rest and quarantine for 14 days. You can't do anything productive on those 14 days, and it's a waste of time. So putting your life at risk over there is definitely something that you do not want to do. Now, I'm going to be back after a short break, and I will be talking more about these travel restrictions, travel bans that have been put on the UK and these other 43 countries that are on the red list, right after a short break from our sponsors and a little bit of who Relax Radio is. Now, now that is really bad. So I was talking about the COVID-19 risk, the possibility of putting people in jeopardy, and you know how COVID-19 is really bad. And if you want to travel to another country, what you should do, what you should consider doing. Now, so you want to travel to a red listed banned country. Now, there's so much you got to do. You got to like check where you're traveling to, check where you're going to go, check the designated area you're going to go to, and consider all of that. Now you had to pay a pound, you had to pay £1,750 in case you want to travel there. Now this £1,750 is allocated for the hotel that you are traveling to. On top of that, you need to pay not much, but not much actually. That's all you need to pay. Other than that, you had to pay for your ticket that you have to book through the government portal. Without booking it from there, you cannot go to the country unless you're willing to pay a fine of £4,000. Now, there's more fines that come if you want to travel to a red band country or traveling from a red band country back to the UK. In case you haven't paid, in case you haven't taken the first and second vaccine, there's a fine for each one of those. The first vaccine, if you haven't taken that, there is a fine of £1,000. The second vaccine, if you haven't taken, there is a fine of £2,000. Now, these both get added up together with the £1,750, which is allocated for the hotel. And you have to stay under quarantine for 14 days, which makes sense because you are coming from another country. You hold the possibility of carrying the COVID-19 virus with you. Now, these rules have been imposed for quite a while, since the early January 2021, and it was imposed by the Secretary Matt Hancock. Now, he is the health secretary, and he is responsible for all of these commands and these rules and regulations that have been imposed in this country. Now, if you want to like share your input or want to give us a call or send us a message, you should definitely give us a call on the number that is 07852 473 473. Now, we also go live on other platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So turn on the notification button there so you'd never miss us out. And we also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. You can download our apps over there. That is RELAKS, relax with a K. Now, if you download our apps, you could definitely listen to us from anywhere or any place, anytime. That's how convenient the apps make it for you to engage with us. Now, back to the topic. So, Matt Hancock, the Secretary of Health, he is the one who imposed this law, these rules, and his reason for this is really simple, but it's really strict as well. The reason is because it's a measure to protect the people, protect ourselves, and protect others from the COVID-19 virus. Because if we have it, we are putting everyone else in a risk, and we ourselves are being put in a risk as well. Like it's a really horrible virus. We have never seen anything like this. It's so strong that like spreads in the snap of a second, and we won't know it until we feel the side effects and the symptoms of it. And yeah, like I said before, one of the biggest side effects that would affect me personally is the loss of taste, because like food is something we all need. We need it to stay nourished. We need it to, we need food, and it's tasty. It's such a beautiful thing. Has so much flavors and delicacies. It's so much culture in food as well. We can look at food like, for instance, let's take pizza. Pizza, it originates from Italy. It's such a simple thing. It's like all over the world. It's everywhere. You go to any country, you're gonna be like pizza. But like, if you have the COVID-19 virus, no matter what pizza you order, it's all gonna taste bland and flavorless. So that's one thing they're gonna regret if you do get the COVID-19 virus. So the reason for these rules to be implemented are really understandable. They're extremely strict. You had to stay 6 feet apart from each other, and it makes sense. So a reporter asked the question from Matt Hancock, when will he be like, where, how does he intend to take these rules or this system away? And his answer for this, that he wants to like take the system away and bring back the old UK to like its normal social, how normally UK was, so that people can interact with others, they can have a good conversation, they don't have to worry about the risk of COVID-19 spread. Now, Matt Hancock even wants to do this, Boris Johnson wants to do this. It all makes sense because we're stuck inside our houses, life gets boring, doing nothing. We won't be doing nothing. We have like work, we have other things to do. It all makes sense that why these measures have been taken. So like, let's say these measures go on for about another 3 months. there's a lot of benefits that are going to come out of this. COVID-19 rate in the UK is going to drop by a rapid number. For instance, let's say the rate currently would be something like about 100 cases a week or so, for example. It will definitely drop to about 20 to 10 cases a week, because currently UK is in the green list, so there's no need to worry about that. We can travel. We are a very safe country to travel to or travel from. So that's really good to know, and puts people like us at ease, knowing that we can travel around, not worrying about the spread of COVID-19, because we're in a good spot. But these rules make it easier for us, make life, even though it doesn't make it convenient as possible, because like business people who have big things happening in other countries, it makes life for them like a really lot difficult. Because like, for if you have like this huge business in India, you won't be able to do anything over there, because it's either you get this red list travel ban thing lifted up, you got to go through this big huge process, huge amount of fees, and huge amount of things to consider. Now, this all makes sense, like I said before, and it's all understandable from where it's coming. Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson, they all want the best for the country. They want the country to come back to its normal state, because living in this state is really uncomfortable. It's not convenient, and it's unethical in a way, because like humans are very social creatures. Social interaction is really important for humans. Because like my personal take on this is, I totally agree with what's going on, because like they want to bring back the country to its old state, and once they do, we will be able to like live that almost normal life that we lived, and everything will be much more simple and perfect. Like I even spoke before about like how Boris Johnson has approved that schools students can remove their mask when they're in class, so they can have more interaction with their teacher. Because like the education system kind of got screwed when you think about it. People were forced to like go on to online education. Now that platform is not bad, but it's not as interactive as school, because education is something you learn more through by like physical experiences than from a book. Because like, it depends on what you're learning, but mainly most of the subjects, you need that experience, you need that interaction with your teacher. So the fact that they're trying to bring back from colleges and schools, they're trying to uplift this mask system. It makes so much sense, it makes life easier, but they won't be able to do it without the support of us the people of UK. And we have to comply with these rules and regulations, because it's for the better of us. We need to understand that they're coming from this spot where they care about the country, and I totally agree with that. I'm totally on board with this. And people who want to like, you can't like let me go back to like what I said before. If you want to like travel from India to the UK, now this is only valid for people who are citizens of UK or who belong to the UK. Now if you're a normal person from another country, you are not allowed to come back to the country, but you will have to go through a bunch of rules and regulations. You have to pay an amount of £1,750 in order to stay in UK, the UK hotel, the residence, and all of that, which makes sense, because like, it's understandable. It all makes sense, and that is my personal take on this topic. Now, I will be right back with you after a short break, where I talk about this interesting topic in case you want to like travel within the UK. Now, it's about Cornwall. Now, there's a lot of pools, there's a lot of water, and a lot of areas to swim in Cornwall. Now, if you want to know about these areas and a little bit more about the little details about this area, you should definitely stick around to the show, where I talk about these interesting places that you could definitely visit in the UK. So I'll be right back with you after a short break from our sponsors and a little bit of who Relax Radio is. Till then, stay safe. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9 on the Vibe, where I bring you vibes from all over the places, different cultures, or places you're interested in traveling. And that's what I do. I bring you vibes from all of these interesting places. Now, for today, I'm going to talk about like, let's say you want to visit somewhere, but you know you can't go out of the country, so you're stuck in the UK. And like the best place you want to go in case you want to have a swim as well. Well, the place is going to be Cornwall. Now, there's plenty of places that you can go for a swim in Cornwall. Cornwall is a place with like a lot of water. You should definitely, I should definitely say that because like there's a ton of places to visit. There's a ton of places to swim. You could even go on boat rides or surfing on this place, depending on the weather, the time, and how the day is looking. So if you want to like share your input or thoughts on this, you should definitely give me a call or message me on the number which is 07852 473 473. Now we also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is RELAKS, Relax Radio, and you can listen to us from anywhere or any place you're at if you download these apps. We also go live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube as well. So turn on the notification icon there so you get notified every time we go live. Now back to the topic. You know, you want to travel somewhere in the UK, you can't go out because of the COVID-19 restrictions. I'm going to tell you about a few places that are really beautiful, have beautiful scenery, beautiful places you can visit and go to during this season. Now number one on this list is Nanjizzo. Nanjizzo is a place built of natural rocks. It has a pool near it and it's got beautiful scenery. The water is at a really good level. It's quite decent and it's beautiful to go in case you are looking to go somewhere with water. Now, this is really close to the beach, so in case you want to like go for a swim, you have to take a small walk, but you can get there. Now the scenery, as I said before, it's basically like a bunch of rocks, huge rocks. These are all natural rocks, no man-made features added on the place. Now, if you want to visit this place, you should definitely visit this place in the daytime because in the night the tides are really unpredictable. They're strong, the water levels are higher than usual, and that's one reason why you should visit in the nighttime. And also the other thing you should check is the tide level in this place because you know when the tide level is really high, it covers all the rocks as well. So you have no space, you have space to swim, but you cannot see the rocks. So in case like a huge tide hits you, you're probably going to end up knocking on a rock, or you're definitely not going to come out in a safe way out of this water. So that's one reason, one thing you got to consider if you're going to go swimming here. Consider the weather, the time you're going to go swim, the daylight, like the daylight, because you need a lot of light to see this place because it's a bunch of tall rocks, small rocks, and you know how like if you're in the dark, you can't see them unless you have like a huge light. But it's definitely recommended that you go swimming or swimming in the daytime. Now this place is in a park and there's a seasonal cafe. It's a small walk that you can walk on this area on the northwest along the cliffs of the Mill Bay. And so the pool is located near the Mill Bay, and you can even see this beautiful scenery around you. You can just go for like a small stroll, and it's perfect for like your family because like you know staying inside home cooped up with all of them, it's kind of stressful. You don't want to like stay in there, and that's one reason why you should definitely travel to Cornwall, and check out these places out. Now, next in our list is called the Frenchman's Creek. Yes, the Frenchman's Creek. Now, this place became famous because of an author. The name of this author is Maria. Sorry, the name is Daphne Maria. Okay, so now Maria, she wrote a book about this. She wrote a book, and in the book, she mentioned about this lake, this small creek. And for some reason, this book became famous, or that's really good for her. And because of that fame, also popularity of the places mentioned in this book became famous as well, and luckily Frenchman's Creek was one of them. Now this creek is known for many various things, and one of the things that it's known for is the amount of robberies that go on in these places. It's not that high, but it's definitely got like history on it, and that is mentioned in Maria's book. Now it's a small walk and it's got like a decent area. It's got parking for your family in case you want to travel there with your family in a vehicle. You don't have to walk there, unlike the previous location. So you can definitely like go in a vehicle. You don't have to walk. You can park. There's parking. The park is in Helford, the village. So you can definitely check out the place as well, and it's really convenient, it's really good. There's so much things you can do. You can go fishing in this area, you can go for a swim, you could walk around the area, admire the scenery, and it's beautiful. It's got beautiful scenery, rocks, water, tree, birds, natural wildlife. Go for a boat ride, go for some fishing. You can't go for like a huge boat ride in this area because the lake the creek is not that wide, but you definitely have to consider like what you're going to do here, because with the COVID-19 restrictions, you have to wear your face mask, you have to like stay 6 feet apart from each other, considering all of that. And you need to like definitely go in the nighttime, definitely go in the daytime in case you want to go fishing, because if you go in the nighttime you can't see what you're catching. You might even just like pick up a boot from the water, so you never know that. So you definitely have to like consider what time you're going, how you're going, and all of that. Now, this place is quite, like I said, it's quite an old place. The water is beautiful, scenery is beautiful. It's a creek. You can do all of this. If you wish to go for a swim, you should, but don't go around the high tide times, because when the tides are high, the water pressure might push you away. So you had to always consider of that. Now, up next on the list, we've got the River Fowey. The River Fowey, the Lanhydrox estate. So this is near the Lanhydrox estate, and the name of this river is called the Fowey. It's a really simple name. It's really hard to catch the gist of it, but it's got a beautiful view. It's got this long path as well. It's got a path made specifically to walk beside this river. It's beautiful. The estate itself is something that you should definitely look at. Now, the water is not that deep compared to all the other locations. It's quite shallow. You can't go on boat rides if you wish, but you can like walk, or you can go on a swim, but boat rides are something that you can't do. You could definitely go fishing in this place, because the fish do reside in water, so that's simple. And you can't go on a boat ride, you can't fish on a boat. You could go in the nighttime, but you're not going to be able to see much. So daytime is one of the times you should definitely consider in going. Now, this location also has some historic value to it. Um it's because of this estate that it has historic value. The Lanhydrock estate, there's so much history in this place. So in case you visit this place, you should definitely check out this estate. There's so many pictures, so many ornaments. You should go check out over there, and then go for like a small beautiful stroll with your family or friends, or even alone in this area. It's a beautiful walk. There's fishes, there's rocks, there's trees, there's birds, a lot of natural wildlife that you should definitely check out. So it's at the park of Lanhydrox, the house. This estate has a park, and it's got this footpath as well, so you can definitely walk on that as well. And it's a clean river. It's really, you can like see the bottom of it because the water is not too shallow. You can't take a boat. I said this already. You can't take a boat. You can definitely walk on the sides of the water, but when you go in the middle of the water, middle of the river, the water is definitely going to go above your head level. So if you want to go to some place like this, I think this will be really good. It's got historic value, it's got water, it's got a footpath, it's got natural wildlife, and like everything that's not inside your house. So with your family, it's a really good place. It's definitely got parking as well, because it's like a museum. It expects people to get there, and it's a place that you should definitely check out. Now, I will be sharing more about these locations or places you should go to if you want to have a swim or get out of the house in the UK, in Cornwall, right after this short break from our sponsors and a little bit about us. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9. So, I was talking about if you want like travel within the UK because of the COVID restrictions and you want like go for a small swim. I'm giving you I'm giving you a couple of good spots to go and visit in Cornwall. So I spoke about the Frenchman's Creek, the Nanjissel, and the River Fowley. Now, those are some interesting places with a lot of historic value, beautiful scenery, and definitely a place you should definitely check out. Now, if you want to like share your opinions or thoughts, or you want even give me a call or send me a message, you should definitely call me on the number 078 We also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is RELAKS, relax with a K on the App Store. Now you can download our apps and you could check us out over there. You could listen to us anywhere because the apps are really convenient. And we also go live on our other platforms, which is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So turn on the notification icon over there so you never miss out a live stream. Now, if you want to like travel to places because you're stuck at home but you can't go out of the country, well, these are the places you should visit. But also you should definitely go by the COVID-19 restrictions and regulations. You should definitely be vaccinated in order to have international travel between from UK, like other places in the UK. So it all makes sense, and you should always follow these rules and regulations in order to keep the spread of COVID-19 to a minimum. So up next we've got on our list is the Perusia Cove. Now, this is a private estate and it's called the Perusia Cove. Now, this estate has three beaches close to it and it's at the southwest coast. It's a private estate, so you if you want to like stay near this beach, well, they have a cottage over there. You'd have to pay for it, which all makes sense because it's private estate. There's so much fun things you can do in the private estate, and since it's really close to the beach, like you can even go visit in the night because the beach over here, they're really shallow. There's nothing much you can't swim that deep in this since it's quite shallow. You can't go fishing in these, but there's so much you can do since there's three beaches. There's a park close to it as well. There's so much to explore, so much to do, and you can also walk beside them and admire the scenery as well after being like in lockdown for quite a while, and that'll be fun. But if you're not interested in doing that, there is parking as well. So in case you want to park somewhere, you can also park by the parking provided by the estate. Now there's so much you can do in these places. It's got three beaches, one of them called the Bessie Cove, and it's really close to the shore. There's so much rocks over here. The rocks are quite made like slabs because of the natural formation. These all these rocks over there are natural, except for the added cottage over there. Now you can swim over there. You don't have to swim necessarily in the beach water as well. They have a private pool as well in this private estate. So if you want to visit some place fancy with like three beaches and close to it, and has a private cottage, a private pool, has parking, has all these fancy resort like background, you should definitely visit the Parisia Cove. Now this place has a park as well, so it's going to be like a very relaxing place to go and check out because it'll be really convenient as well. Parking, you got a place to stay. You don't have to worry about accommodation if you pay for it. All you got to do is worry about the COVID-19 restrictions and rules that they've provided and told you to abide by, which all makes sense because we don't want the spread of COVID-19 to increase. Now, up next on my list, I've got the Port Wrinkle. Now, the Port Wrinkle is one of the most interesting places that you should definitely check out. For one reason is it's got a shallow pool to swim in, but this shallow pool is also connected to the beach. So if you're up to the challenge, you could definitely like swim up to the beach, probably go for a surf, or even if you have a boat, you could like definitely swim in the boat or paddle your way there. But also this place has another beach next to it, which is also cool because like more beaches, more places to swim. And on top of that, it has a harbor. It's called the Stone Harbor. So if you want shelter, the harbor's got shelter for you. If you want like a yacht or some big boat or a simple boat, you can book it from the harbor. It's right next to the beach. It's really convenient. If the tides do get really strong or really hard to handle, you could always take shelter in the harbor. Now there's parking as well in these places, which make it really convenient. and really simple. Now, there's a funny story also behind one of the coast beaches named over there. The name of this beach is called the Finnegook. Now, why it's I find this funny is because it's been named after a smuggler who lived in the area. The name of this smuggler is Silius Finn. Like, I know the name doesn't sound anything like Finnegook, but it is named after the smuggler. I don't know why, but it's history. And so, if you want to like visit a place that has history, has a port by it, has like interest in scenery, a beach next to it, and has coral reef has a coral reef also, so you can explore, like you can go scuba diving to the bottom of the ocean, see these wildlife ecosystems over there. It's definitely one of the places you should explore, and there's parking as well in these places. So if you're traveling with your family, you don't have to worry about walking that much because they've got parking. You travel in your vehicle, it's convenient. All you need to do once again is abide by the COVID-19 restrictions and stay safe, don't spread the virus. And also it's really close to a village, so you don't if you want, you can just walk from the village and admire the walk to the village, from the port village to the port, or just take your vehicle and just park it near the fort, and that's really convenient. Now the next place has a bunch of rumors because of the rocks that are near this ocean, this beach. So it's called the Port Nanwen. So in this area, there's a lot of stones. Okay, so these stones, they are shaped like eggs, and they call them dinosaur eggs. Dinosaurs have been extinct for quite a while, and I don't know why would they call them dinosaur eggs. Because if they've been dinosaur eggs over there, they should have already hatched by now. And another rumor they call this place is the mermaid's pool, because of the way the rocks are shaped. They believe like that mermaids come and they rest on these rocks. And many people have made rumors back then in the time. They're like, "Oh, I saw a mermaid lying over there." And those rumors have like spread on for like centuries, generations. And now people have like called this place the mermaid's pool, the dinosaur eggs resident. And it's funny because dinosaurs and mermaids, they're mythical creatures. The dinosaurs aren't mythical, but mermaids are mythical. Dinosaurs are like very prehistoric. They've been extinct for more than 2,000 years, which is they should have hatched by now if they're dinosaur eggs, to be honest. And the mermaid part is kind of like bonkers. It's like it's not true, it's not possible, because mermaids, they're not real. And also, so like now this place is really close to the city of St. Jude. It's so close that you could even just go, like, if you're in St. Jude, you could like see the ocean from like a road or anything. It's that close to the beach. Now also you can park in St. Jude because St. Jude has historic value. It has parking, it has residents, it's got like many resorts, it's got cafes. So if you want to like spend time in a most convenient, easy place, access to like history, access to like cafes, any place, like because when you're traveling, you want to gain that experience of history, a little bit of knowledge about a place, a little bit of fun experiences to have. Well, this is the place to go then, because you got rumors about a mermaid and dinosaur eggs that might hatch at any moment if you go there, and historic value from the city of St. Jude. And this is really cool. And also on top of that, there is another place to swim at. It's called the Priest Cove. Now it's a beach, so you can go there. It's really close by. You could go in your car, or you could go by a walk. You can go for a walk all the way there and admire nature. And it won't be bad. But like if you have the if you have the Port Nanwen really close to you, you could just go there. But if you want more adventure, you should definitely check out Praise Cove. It's really close by and convenient as well. Now, up next on the list, we've got the Devil's Frying Pan. Now, it's a very unique name. The location itself, the landscaping in the location, it's really unique. It doesn't look like a devil, to be honest, but there's many incidents that has happened here to give this name. Now, this place is actually a lagoon, so it's the water is like really blue, and it's really beautiful to like stare at. You could like if you stare in the water, you're definitely going to like stare in the water for like about 15 minutes, because it's so blue, it's so sparkly, it's so nice to like stare at. And now I was talking about the landscape, how the landscaping is quite unique over here. earlier back in the day, like about 1990s, there used to be a cave over here. 1990s, so there used to be a cave over here, and the cave collapsed one day. And with the collapse of the cave, it left this unique shape. Like, the entrance of a cave, it's like a hole, and then there's rocks around the hole. Well, it left that shape, so there is basically like a bridge above this hole. And so, like, it's a valley like bridge. You could just swim underneath this bridge, and it's really convenient. It's really beautiful because there's parking close to it. There's You can go for a short swim. You can go fishing in this area. There's a rock bridge made on it, which is 100% natural because of like a cave collapsion over there. It's really nice. And there's a park. The park is called the park is in the Cadwood village. So there's a village close by. You don't have to worry about like a location to stay, because the village definitely has accommodation. It's got like a cafe. It's got all of that. So it's a fun place that you should visit with your family. But also the water over there is quite like it's unpredictable, because when the high tides are there, and it's really close to rocks, because like I said before, a cave once collapsed there. So there's like huge boulders in the middle of the swimming path. So if the tides are really high and unpredictable, you should definitely not go for a swim. Do not go for a swim in the daytime, because you won't be able to see. Sorry, do not go for a swim in the nighttime, because you would not be able to see the rocks. So that's all you need to be concerned if you're traveling to this place. It's about the tides. The bridge is not going to collapse, because like once before the cave did collapse, so it doesn't mean the bridge is going to collapse. They've put stabilizers in it so that it stays stable. It doesn't collapse, so you don't need to worry about that. It's going to be a fun trip, to be honest. If you're traveling with your family, you could like spend so much time just staring at the water, because the water over there is like really blue. It's sparkly as well. You can see the fish as well, and the landscaping over there is interesting. I really have no clue how it's called the devil's frying pan, though. It's something that that I'm quite curious on how did it get the name as the devil's frying pan. But that is a place that you should definitely visit. You can go fishing on a boat. Like fishing is one of the biggest things you do when you go near like a river or something like that. Now I'm going to tell you more about few more places that you can go for a swim or visit in Cotton, in in uh in these areas. So do stick around. I'm going to bring a little word from our sponsors and a little bit of who Relax Radio is. That's right. This is Relax Radio, and I'm your host, Matt, all the way till 9. So I'm on the show, The Vibes, where I bring you vibes from different places that you're interested in traveling or different cultures as well. So today I was talking about like interest in places with like places you can swim in Cornwall. Now I spoke about like several places, so it's really cool because like the landscaping in these places are different. The way they are built is different. Most of them like have historical value. The wildlife also there is very admirable, and there's so much more you can explore when it comes to places like that are naturally built. Now, if you want to like share your input or you want to call me and message me, you should definitely call me on 078 52 473 473. That's right. The number is 078 52 473 473. We also have apps on the App Store and Play Store. That is RELAKS. So you should download our apps on the App Store and Play Store. And you could definitely check us out on those as well. So it's really convenient for you. You can like listen to us from wherever you are or wherever you're listening from. And we also go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So turn on the notification icon over there so you'd never miss out any of these shows. Now, back to what I was talking about, like interest in places, that you can go for a swim in case you're traveling in the UK. With COVID-19 restrictions, it's really hard to travel like other countries as well. So there's a lot of things you should consider before traveling to other places. One of them being is COVID-19. You got to get vaccinated. There are two vaccinations currently that have been done: the first vaccination and the second vaccination. After that, you're like good to do international traveling. But it depends on whether you're going like if you're going to go for something like outside international to another country, then there's a lot more. But international travel is really simple. Just get vaccinated and you can travel to wherever the places you want to within the UK. So now I spoke about several places, but up next in this list, we've got like a really warm, calming place that you should definitely check out. It's called the Karn Math. The Karn Math. So the Karn Math is this very old pool like swimming area. It's on a granite quarry. Now, what's interesting about this granite quarry is during the summer. Summer is coming up, so that's a good thing. So during the summer, when the water is there, the summer heats up the water, and because of the granite, the water stays warm. Now that is really cool. It's not cool. It's actually really warm. So if you want to like go swim to a hot place, like have this like hot tub like time, you should definitely go to Kanmat. Because of the granite, it stays warm, and even if there's like high tide, if there's like high tide in the ocean, it won't affect this area because it's really far from the ocean, and like the way it's been naturally made, it doesn't get affected by high tides. So that's something really convenient. Now this place is really close to the Gwen Nap pit, and it's got a park as well, so you have parking, and it's got this long footpath that leads you right over here. This is the most ideal place for a swim. Fishing is not possible in these places because there's not many fish that reside here, but there is beautiful plants such as flowers, and it's got this really meadow like vibe over there. So that's really cool in case you want to go visit this place out. Now, up next on our list is this really naturally sculptured area. So what's so weird about this, naturally beautiful about this place, is one of the rocks. Now this place is called the Bosny Haven. Now the Bosny Haven has this one tall rock that's in the shape of an elephant. Now nobody knows how it came into that shape, but many people have said rumors that an elephant just rested over there and one day turned into a huge rock, which I see as really impossible. But it's shaped in an elephant that when you actually see it, you're gonna be like, that's definitely an elephant who turned into a rock. But that's not the only interesting thing about here. It's just the fact that the water over here is not that deep. You can go for a swim, like it'll definitely pass your head level. But like when the water is at low tide level, most of the area with water just goes away, and it opens up caves. So if you want to like explore the area, you should definitely go at a low tide, like go at the time when the tides are very low, so you can go explore these caves. That's going to be a really fun experience. On top of that, like when it's high tide as well, the tides don't affect it that much because the water is quite shallow. So if it's high tides, if you just swim too far into the ocean, then it'll definitely affect you. But when you're close to the shore, it's going to just open up caves if it's in low tide mode, or if it's in high tide mode, it's just going to be like normal water. Now, this is near the village of Bosnia. So in case you want to like get residence, a cafe or something, you could definitely live there for like a couple. You could definitely stay over there for a couple of days. So it's going to be a splendid vacation. And there's also a few places you should explore, such as the Rocky Valley or the Slate Gorge near the area. So it's got a lot of natural rock like sculptures over there, which is also one of these one of them is this elephant like sculpture. And there's so much rocks like sculptures constructed by nature over there. And that's one of the biggest things you should definitely explore. So if you're like a hiker, you could definitely go like small you could definitely go on like small hikes in these areas. So that's convenient and that's going to be fun. Hiking is one of the funnest things you should definitely try, because you're climbing up there and you're putting like you're putting like that anxiety of like climbing to high spots away. You're going to get this bird's eye view that nobody gets, and it's going to be definitely a fun experience. It's also a very physical experience, so it's definitely not going to be of a loss if you go hiking. Now you can't do fishing in this area because of the water level. Water level is quite shallow, so fish do not come much, and the coral life here is quite deep into the ocean. So if you want to go scuba diving, you could definitely go and explore the coral life over there. Now, up next on our list, my final place that you should definitely go and check out if you want to go for a swim in Cornwall is the Portriad. The Portriad is it's in a village like area. So it's near the north coast. It's really close to the ocean, but there's a lot of coral life. And because of dead coral life, it has formed like these small beds, small pools like areas where it's basically like a big pool just made out of natural coral rock. So there's a lot of pools over there. The tidal level over there is quite decent. It doesn't get too high. You should definitely not go for a swim in the night because there's a lot of coral life. You might bump your head onto a rock or coral rock if a high tide wave just hits you. So that is something you should definitely be concerned of if you're going to this place. But other than that, there's a park close to it. The park is called the Portrait Park, which is really close to the beach. So you can park at the park or just come for go for a short walk and get to this beach. Now, there's not much you can do over here other than just admire the rocks over here, but there is a little bit of history on this area. So there are six smaller bath-shaped pools carved into rocks, natural man-made. These were made by man, so they're huge rocks. They were just like carved. People used to just like hammer these rocks until it formed like a pool-like shape. And this has been done to six particular rocks. So if you want to like have a small adventure in this place, you should definitely try searching for all six of these man-made pools, bath pools. They're called the Lady Bassett baths. So this was done at around the 19th century, and it was made for women to have a bath in there because at that time they respected women. They were like women need privacy and all of that. It still is implemented, but at the time it's like really special. So they made these special pools for women, and these pools were only made for men. But nowadays, like as a local family who lives in the UK, you can definitely go visit there with your entire family. You don't need to worry about those, except for the COVID-19 rules and regulations. Now, like out of all of these places that I told you, my favorite place would definitely be the Devil's Frying Pan. It's not because of the name, but it's because of the place, the way it's been landscaped, and the fact that it used to be a cave, but the cave had collapsed and made this place naturally. Now that's really cool. And also, if you like go see the structure, you can go check up multiple images on Google. The way it's been landscaped, so it's like a bridge. You can walk over the bridge, and then there's crystal blue water. You could like see the bottom of the water. There's small boulders on it, small boulders below it, and fishes, coral life that live over there. You could also go for a swim over there, and it's got like a lot of history on it, and it's really beautiful. It's got calming winds, it's got a meadow. It's quite beautiful. But on second tier, I'd put the one which has most rumors on it, the one with the mermaid, the place where mermaids lie, and dinosaur eggs. because of the rumors. It's the only reason I'd put that there on second on my list. So I spoke about 10 places that you should definitely check out. At first, I spoke about the Nanjiso. Its landscape is very natural. It's got like really tall rocks, but you should definitely not visit there in the nighttime because the tides are really high. It's quite beautiful. Then I spoke about the Frenchman's Creek and the River Fowley, the Perusia Cove. This is a private estate. It's got a lot of history in it, and if you want something adventurous, then you should definitely check Port Wrinkle. Port Wrinkle has like it's got a shipyard next to it. It's got a port next to it. If you want adventure, you should definitely go out of the pool into the ocean. You could go surfing, you could go scuba diving, explore the coral life, and there's so much places to explore. These aren't all the rivers or places with swimming pools, swimming areas that you could explore in Cornwall. There's plenty more, but these are what I chose to spoke about because they were special. They had something that caught my eye, and I feel like this would be really interesting to share with you all. And that's the main reason why I brought these topics, these places to you all. So if you want to like share more details, more want to talk more about these topics, you definitely give me a call on the number that is 07852 473 473. We go live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. So do check us out over there as well. And we have apps on the App Store and Play Store, which is Relaks. So now since we go live, you can also tune in to us from the apps. You could listen to us wherever you're from. It's really convenient. And do turn on the notification on our social media platforms. You get notified every time we go live or every time we post. So I'm going to be taking a short break soon, and I'll be talking about a really interesting culture. This culture has been going on for quite a while, since the 1950s, 1960s. It's been going on for quite a while, and it has come to this stage where it's almost like a dying culture because our technology has advanced and all of that. The culture is called comic culture. So if you want to like know more about this culture, do stick around for the next half of the show where I talk about this culture. And I will be right back after this short break.